my mind, the Muslim Brotherhood is the mother of all Islamic organizations of the 20th century.
Their utopia is having the law be shariah.
Anything mentioned in the Quran, they believe in it 100%.
They believe that Western civilization is corrupt, is evil, is decadent, and they want to dismantle it.
Here we are, the red carpet for tonight, Grand Deception, Jihad in America, the Grand Deception movie. Let's talk and get some opinions about the documentary.
This movie is about terrorist Islam that take the Quran to perpetrate hatred and harms to Americans.
Do you think, after seeing the documentary, after all your experiences, do you think that they are reaching, the Brotherhood is reaching their goal in America? Are they winning the battle?
Great question. I think that at the moment they are in the lead because they have organizational strength, they have grassroots presence. Most importantly, they have control of the narrative. And what you saw going on tonight is the established narrative that most Americans think passes for real Islam, and actually the reality that it does not represent us. Anyone who controls the narrative controls the culture. And at the moment, if we ask ourselves about American Muslim identity, what is the public image of American Muslim identity? It is these organizations that you've seen in this movie, but that does not represent the 68 different nationalities of Muslims who live here. So is the Muslim Brotherhood winning in its presence, or its ideologues winning in the United States? In terms of the public image of Muslims, yes, and that's why this is a crisis.
If they will reach it or not, it's up to them. If they want to reach their goals, they have to change track, they have to change policy. And if they change policy and introduce themselves properly to the societies, to the Egyptian society, to the Arab society, to the American society, if their goals is only focusing on al-da'wah and focusing on promoting Islam, the religion aiming for peace, aiming for high values, they are more than welcome.
If their goal is to turn America into a theocracy controlled by Shia or Sunni orthodoxy, i.e. in the form of Sharia law, I don't think they're reaching their goal. The soft underbelly of radical Islam is its treatment of women and its treatment of gays. And the more that we can do to make people aware that radical Islam is highly hostile to those, the more we will do. Because unfortunately, historically, this has been portrayed in the mind of the American population as a view that is from the right wing.
Yes, they have. And they've been doing it since 1963. 73, they cranked up with all the money and the support. And from 73 until today, they've expanded their operation. They've compromised various leaders in both the education systems and through the universities, through our Defense Department, through our State Department, and many in law enforcement, who are now supporting and defending their efforts to compromise our civilization and our country.
Oh boy, I only hope to God no. But they're so infiltrated in our government. They're so infiltrated in our schools and everywhere else that you could possibly combat them. You know, they have been doing this for years, as they're very patient. You know, they're very patient people, and they've been working on us, and they say it in their letters, in the Quran. You know, doesn't matter. We'll take forever to do what we have to do, and lying is okay, as long as it's for the cause of achieving what you're doing. And that's what's been going on, and it's infiltrated our country, as you can see, as anybody can see, who can see, Just open your eyes and follow what's happening.
After deadly terror attacks in London, a coalition of Brotherhood-aligned Muslim American groups saw an ideal opportunity to hone their positive public image. They would issue a carefully worded fatwa, a religious decree against terrorism.
Islam strictly condemns religious extremism and the use of violence against innocent lives. There is no justification in Islam for extremism or terrorism.
Having our religious scholars side by side with our community leaders leaves no room for anybody to suggest that Islam and Muslims condone nor support any forms or acts of terrorism.
In the documentary, it's really shed the light on the Brotherhood very clearly. The negative, and there were no positive, and I agree with the movie.
But she had the vision to make this movie a reality. She got the best from the movie, and she created what we see now.
Where that vision came from?
The vision came from the facts. I literally was presented with all of the facts, and it was a mosaic that had to be put together. And the facts, they lead you through a story. You just have to pay attention to them. And who knew when we started this documentary that it was actually going to end up being about the Muslim Brotherhood? But because of the different threads that were picked up and pulled on from the film, it led to the conclusion that we needed to focus on the Muslim Brotherhood, and that ended up being very relevant to what's going on current event-wise in the world today.
Because this is not against Islam. I have my doctor is Islam. My health is in my Islam doctor's hands. This is about a bunch of mafia guys that use the Islam to get money, move money, use young people to harm Americans and any other Western civilization.
After you saw the documentary,
Yes.
do you think that the radicalism in Islam is winning in America?
That's a very difficult question. First, you have to define winning. If winning is being able to deceive the American public, I would say yes. But over the long term, I think that the truth will prevail, and a movie like this is instrumental to making sure that that's the case.
For the first time, this country took money away from Egypt. They took the money away. They reduced our giving them money. And because this obviously shows that this administration is in favor of the Muslim Brotherhood. If you're going to reduce their money, why would you do that? There's only one answer, that he's in favor of the Muslim Brotherhood, and he thinks that it's... So we're in trouble. We're in big, big trouble. I have no idea if we can ever get out of it. The only way we can get out of it is if we show films like this, and we hope there are people wide awake to see the truth, But I thank you very much for being here and doing it.
Thank you, Tony LoBianco. Tony LoBianco here tonight for the Jihad, the Deception in America, the movie.
And it is
here
deception.
Tonight.
Deception for sure.
This religion, that is Islam, it shall govern the whole universe. The Islamic civilization should rule and govern and direct people in every walks of life, but not to be governed by others.
I don't think that'll happen. Honestly, it's not like Europe. The demographics in Europe are much different, where you have negative population birth in Italy, like 1.2, and Muslim population growth of average of a 5.6 or 6 per, So in 30 years, you've got Italy, Germany, Britain, Belgium, Sweden, technically, if the demographic trends continue, becoming Muslim countries by the year 2045, 2047. They have a real problem on their hands. And I don't know what they're going to do because they can't deport people. We don't have that same demographic problem. We have a different problem, which is the political influence of these groups, which is disproportionate to their numbers. And that's a real problem because they're able to manipulate the political process of getting indictments dropped, of getting recognition, of getting universities to actually honor them and give them departments. I mean, this is unheard of, that the Muslim Brotherhood has its own department at the University of California.
I hope never. Despite what they've accomplished, many people in this country, and most people, will not tolerate that kind of control over their personal lives.
You know, I think it might be a little strong to say, I wouldn't put it outside the realm of possibility in hundreds of years, perhaps. But I do think that that is their genuine intention, to make the same. When I say they, I mean the Muslim Brotherhood and other Islamic radicals, that they would like this to be a Muslim country. I would hope, and maybe that's my own either strength or weakness, that America's philosophies will triumph.
الآن آن لأمريكا أن ترد الدين إلى أرض الإسلام، إلى أرض الشرق، إلى القدس، إلى القدس بالبذل، بعهد مع الله على الجهاد، على الاستشهاد، أن نغير من أنماط حياتنا.
Because if you remain on the side of injustice, the wrath of God will come. Please, please, all Americans, do you remember that Allah is watching everyone, God is watching everyone. If you continue doing injustice and tolerate injustice, the wrath of God will come.
We are here today to tell our brothers and sisters in Palestine that you have learned the way, that you have known that the Jihad way is the way to liberate your land.
The notion that if they take over the entire world, yeah, well, that's a theoretical point. But on the way to taking it over, there's going to be a lot of violence because, you know, even in this country, while Al-Qaeda has not been successful, or most arrests have been lone wolves, because they're indoctrinated with this hatred of the United States and the West, or they're indoctrinated with the hatred of anything that is not Muslim Brotherhood, and they feel they have to carry out their opposition in terms of violence. Now, technically, you're right that if they end up controlling the entire world, you're right, there won't be any more terrorism, but anybody who is not a Muslim Brotherhood may not be alive. So I don't know that we'll be here to celebrate it.
This was Muslim Brotherhood leader Abdurrahman Alamoudi. Before other audiences, Alamoudi would not be so blunt. In a 1999 visit to Amman, Jordan, on a goodwill mission, he gave a moderate speech at the U.S. Embassy. But later that afternoon, in an undercover interview, he revealed his support for violence. Back home a year later, Alamoudi finally merged his public persona and private allegiances at a Washington, D.C. rally just steps from the White House. This video was taken after the mainstream media had left for the day.
I have been labeled by the media in New York to be a supporter of Hamas. Anybody support this Hamas here? Hear that, Bill Clinton? We are all supporters of Hamas. Allahu Akbar. I wish they added that I'm also a supporter of Hezbollah. Anybody supports Hezbollah here? Takbir!
Verbally supporting terror groups while shocking is not illegal. On the other hand, in January of 2001, Alamoudi traveled with several other members of the American Muslim Brotherhood to Beirut to meet with leaders of Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and Al-Qaeda.
I don't want to be converted to any religions. I want to have my choice. I don't want you. I don't want any Islam. I don't want any Catholic, any Jew, anybody to tell me what to do with my life or with my wishes or with my what I want to be. Actually, I'm an atheist.
Thank you very much, Roberto Rizzo, founder of the New York City International Film Festival, today here from New York City. You're watching on ALADINO Show.
Thank you, ALADINO.